is, and that's why they're judged for it. But in that, his holiness will be glorified through his wrath on them in judgment. That's what you don't get. Purpose is good in the end, because we would never know how wrathful God is over sin if sin didn't exist. But here's the thing. You don't have to author sin, right? I can author sin right now. Right now, I can author sin by going into my son's room and tell him, son, at 11 o'clock, you have to turn this TV off. It's going off at 11. Can't watch cartoons anymore past 11. You absolutely have to turn it off at 11. If you don't, you're in trouble. And then leave the room. I just authored sin by creating a law that never existed before. And now, before that, my son could have watched TV all night long until 4 or 5 in the morning, right? And it's not a sin at all. But now that I've said, as his father, you have to turn it off at 11, then I've created sin for him, right? Now, when he disobeys my command, he's sinning, even though he wouldn't have been sinning before. But here's the thing, though. God draws his laws from his own character, which is eternal. It has gone on forever into a place of existence where we can't even fathom, right? Because it's completely outside of time. So for eternity, God's character has existed. Therefore, so also has existed the opposite of what God's character is, if only in his mind, right? Because does God not know what the opposite of his character is? Absolutely he does, and he hates it, right? So at some point in time, there's only the Trinity, right? Just existing in perfect harmony with itself, needing for nothing, just glorying in God's goodness forever, right? But knowing what sin is, which is the opposite of his eternal character, and having wrath toward it, and as Romans 9 says, desiring to display that wrath on this intangible concept that doesn't really exist because there's no vessel to carry it. It's just a concept in the mind of God. And so he creates vessels, right? To display what? His mercy and his wrath on. But it's not mercy if everyone isn't equally deserving of the wrath. And he wants to display the wrath. He wants to. Romans 9 says it very plainly. So you don't have to author sin. It's the exact opposite of his eternal character. His character is eternal, therefore sin is eternal. I mean, until it's destroyed, right? But still, it's a concept in the back of God's mind. Even then, he knows what it is, right? He's not going to destroy it out of his own mind. But he displayed what he wanted to with it and then got rid of it out of his creation, right? I want you to see how wrathful I am toward evil, this thing that doesn't exist, but only in my mind, right? So I create vessels for it, and then I do to those vessels the proper thing. Some of them I display my mercy on, so that I can show them my mercy too. Right? We don't get to know that if sin isn't in the world. So yes, you might call it meticulous predetermination, but it has to be. It has to be.